In this video, mom begs for money despite buying new house and car. EK wants free pizza forever, gets banned instead. And just do your job and shut up. No problem. Mom begs for money despite buying new house and car. A little backstory. My mom, who's on SSDI, top tier, almost $2,800 per month, has a very hard time budgeting. Last year, she decided to sell my grandparents' house on S. Oregon to move back to Seattle area. She got the house by having my grandma with dementia change the will and cut out her two siblings, my uncle and aunt. And after my grandma passed, the house and all the savings/belongings went to my mom. So she sells the house, and instead of buying a reasonable home, she's limited mobility and a bad prescription drug addiction and falls often. She buys herself and her 3 cats a 4,000 square foot home in a gated community. There was literally no money left over from the sell/acquisition of the new home. I had to help by paying for a moving van and helpers. Before this, she had a settlement from a slip/fall lawsuit of roughly $50K, which she instantly rolls into a brand new 2018 Toyota Highlander. She'd been left my grandma's 2009 Aspen SUV, but the gas mileage was not good enough. Then, she backs into a tree and busts a taillight on the new car a few months after buying it, goes to the dealership to fix the taillight, decides she needs a brand new 2019 fully loaded Highlander with a tow package, which she has nothing to tow, so this is a mystery. She trades in her 2018 with 5K miles on it and takes out a 35K car loan, and this is on a fixed income, and she always has money struggles. So here's like 80K worth of a car at this point. Excellent. She's constantly begging my bro, sis, and I for money. We're 38, my bro, me, 36, 27, my sister, and all trying to establish ourselves in our lives, careers, and financial security. I'm a stay-at-home mom with 2 young kids. We live off my husband's income as an apprentice tradesman and have to be very frugal. We qualify to live in low-income housing, and I find ways to be resourceful, like donating our time and vehicle to help a local food bank so we're able to get some food as well as help community. We don't own a home or brand new fancy cars, and if you take away rent and do the math for just us 2 adults, we live on less than her monthly SSDI. Yet every month, she has a sad story about how she can't afford X or Y. She finally canceled her $175 a month TV plan. I've asked her more times than I can count to please not bring up money matters with me. I've offered to help her budget, but she refuses the help, only wants dollars. Well, she brought up money the other day when she came up to our apartment to visit the grandkids. But really, she came up to pilfer the food bank transportation we do every Sunday before we drop at food bank, saying she didn't have enough dollars to pick up her prescriptions. This is just after she told me she gets her prescriptions in the mail. I believe she has a drug-induced dementia from the 15 years on benzos and opiates. I told her I could spare $15 for gas money, but that was all. I explained we're a family of 4 living on 1 income and we have a tight budget. I remind her she has had plenty of opportunity to save or spend her money very wisely. So she takes the $15 and goes. I get a call the next day of her crying, saying that the way I brought up her poor money choices was terribly upsetting, pretty much making me out to be the villain and her the victim. This self-victimizing routine is her go-to. It's exhausting because I've done so much for her. I put my life on hold for 5 years after college to be her full-time caretaker. She fell and needed a hip replacement and got hooked on opiates. I couldn't hold down a job or any healthy relationships because I was constantly being called back home to get this or that for her, take her to doctor appointments, etc. I could literally write a novel in all the ways I've helped her. Screw her for trying to make me out to be the bad guy because I don't give her money to get extra prescriptions to fuel her addiction. Screw her for even putting it out there and begging my family for money when she has so much. And lastly, screw her for never respecting my boundaries, which I need to preserve for my well-being. After her sob story phone call, I was upset and it took me a few hours to get my head on straight. I wasn't a good mom to my kids at that time, so to be a better mom to my kids, I'm putting old mom in timeout. I need a break from her entitled self. End of rant. Thank you and good night. EK wants free pizza forever, gets banned instead. Cast, manager, me, nice employee, May, Karen, the entitled EK. So I'm a store manager for a large chain pizza place that charges a bit more than the competition but makes an arguably better product. We try to always believe the customer and make them happy if something's wrong. We have a loyal base of regulars who order often, as well as a lot of other business from randoms in the several nearby hotels. Friday night, EK calls in an order, very simple, pep and jalapeno pizza. Driver delivers it. 30 minutes later, I'm asked to talk to an angry customer on the phone. EK, is this the manager? I've been on hold for over a half hour. Impossible, but okay. Me, I'm very sorry about that, ma'am. What seems to be the problem? EK, I'm at a hotel and your driver was so rude and my pizza is burnt. Me, sorry to hear that the pizza was not up to our quality standards. Can I make you another and send it out? EK, no, don't bother. You've already ruined my kids' dinner and they're crying now. Give me a credit. Red flag. Me, okay, ma'am, I'll credit your number, and when you order next, it will be free. I'm very sorry again, and have a good night. EK, whatever, hangs up. I credit the number and think whatever, that's the end of it. Saturday night. Hey, this lady on the phone wants to speak to a manager. Me. Hello, thank you for holding. This is me. EK, are you all retarded? How long does it take to answer the fucking phone? Me. I'm sorry, what? You've only been on hold a moment while my employee got me. EK, don't fucking tell me how long I've been on hold. I know how long I've been on hold for. I'm groaning inwardly already. A fun customer. Yippee. Me, I'm sorry, ma'am. How can I assist you? EK, my pizza is burned and you have the rudest fucking delivery driver. They practically threw the pizza in my face. Light bulb clicks at this story. I've dealt with this lady before. Me, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll definitely talk to the driver about it. Can I make you a new pizza to replace the one you said is burnt? EK, nah. Give me a credit. Me, okay, ma'am, to ensure our quality standards are being met, can I have a driver come pick up the burnt pizza so I can talk to my production staff about it? EK, no, we ate it. Me, you ate the burnt pizza? EK, yes, we were starving and couldn't wait for a remake, so give me a credit. Me, for the pizza you ate? EK, it was fucking burnt. Let me speak to a manager. Me, I am the manager. EK, I want to speak to your manager. You're being so rude and disrespectful. It's 'cause I'm black, isn't it? You fucking racist piece of shit. Me, ma'am, 1, stop cussing. 2, I have no idea what you look like or who you are, but EK cuts me off. That's right, bitch ass. You don't know who the fuck I am. You about to find out. She then hangs up before I can say anything else. Being as she was extra, I let my DM know about a possible complaint on my behavior and what actually went down. Just as I get off the phone with her, I hear yelling in the lobby. EK, where's that bitch-ass racist manager? I step around the partition and see a cow of a woman wearing tacky bright green and orange with red shoes. Me, can I help you? I'm already done with this heifer because I know who this is. EK, gonna say some shit now? Give me a damn refund for my burnt pizza, and I want gas money for driving over here. Me, you didn't pay for any pizza. It was free, and we don't reimburse gas for people driving to the store. EK, you think this is a fucking joke? You're gonna give me my fucking money or it's gonna go off in this bitch. I'm 100% done at this point. Me, get out. EK, what the fuck did you say? Me, get out of the store. EK, you can't tell me to leave this. This is a public space. Me, no ma'am, it's a private business and you're no longer allowed. I'm refusing to serve you. Leave now or I'll be forced to call the police. EK, fuck you, fuck you. She continues to bellow this until the police arrive. I had to hear every sing-song version of fuck you for about 5 minutes. Police, do you want a trespasser? Me, yes, she isn't welcome here anymore. Police in our town are super cool with us because we give them special discounts and occasionally donate a stack of pizzas to the precinct. Police just outside main door easily heard, okay, so you are now being trespassed. Do not come here or do not linger in the parking lot or you will be arrested. This applies for every single pizza store, not just this one. The defeated look on her face when he said that was almost worth the cost of admission. Not the most epic ending, I know, but what can you do? Just do your job and shut up. No problem. The software company I worked for got acquired. Some people were let go, some were added, and some teams and functions were restructured. Prior to the acquisition, we had a multiple hats situation where you basically did whatever was in your capacity. Teams played to each other's strengths, and one person would generally take a client from the first demo right through the configuration, implementing and training phases of the software. Some of us had strengths in technical areas, others had a decade plus in the client's subject matter. Clients would give us some feedback or wish lists. We'd talk amongst the team about how the functionality could be added or changed, make a functional mock-up, and then bring that to the development team for polish and integration into the production code. It worked wonderfully, like 100% positive feedback and nothing broken when it went to production. We had a good rapport with the dev guys, and some of us were able to write queries or code portions that would save them from having to ask a billion subject matter questions. When we weren't dedicated to a task, we'd handle support calls. Clients would call up, receptionists learned who to pass things to based on clients and the nature of issues, and resolution was typically instantaneous unless the problem required research. Clients loved that and had the understanding that if we couldn't resolve their problem right away, it was because we needed to look into it. After the acquisition, the parent company reorganized things into a much more rigid, you have one job type of scenario. The trouble was, with the people they let go, I was the singular remaining source of a lot of the capacities we provided. It left me working with the sales, product improvement / concept, product evangelism, implementation, development, data conversion, and support teams. Initially, I didn't mind. Wasn't any different than my previous role. Things started nicely enough with the company CEO genuinely asking, "Would you mind helping X team with Y project?" And he'd pick up my travel bar tabs and toss me a day off here and there. It was a fair exchange, and he treated it as though I was doing him a favor. But at some point, all these other departments expected and demanded my time. Instead of people asking when I could help them on a project, I'll just find time blocks added to my schedule for various things. A couple of times, I was supposed to be chairing these meetings and having things prepared, and no one even bothered to tell me. Around this time, I noticed a lot of recommendations I made when asked for input were being overturned by people in new roles who had no idea what they were talking about, as in literally had no exposure to the subject matter and had never even seen the software, plus no programming / logic or database experience. So my input is demanded but also ignored, and this was causing more demands on my time when things were broken or didn't meet client expectation. Plus, the new dev team I was working with made every excuse not to act unless someone went and confirmed and fetched everything they needed. The external demands on my time had increased, and I had coincidentally hit a few walls with my actual job in that clients were unresponsive and couldn't get me the data or access I needed to complete tasks. But that didn't stop my boss from demanding documentation and results and documentation about the results. There was no such thing as waiting. It's your duty to call and harass the powerless client until whatever third party involved enables whatever we need. I was really unhappy in a job I had previously loved. Every day was worse than the last, and then I got my employee review. It was top notch, and yet I got the same cost of living raise as everyone else. It particularly burned my ass that the sales guys were getting commission on sales that I fucking made, and I was just shafted. At the original company, effort above and beyond was well rewarded. I doubled my starting salary in a few years' time for hard work. Now, I was miserable, overdrawn, and got nothing for it. I was having daily arguments with my boss who was completely indifferent to all my commitments and refused to understand that I couldn't compel third-party companies to do my timely bidding to get client data or access. Out of nowhere, I get a call from the head of the data conversions department. He says a few of his people have noticed some high-level solutions to dev or data problems in the Teams chats come out of some random guy from implementations in no time. Then he was talking to a pre-existing client about converting a set of financial data from a legacy system I had converted some building, code, fire, planning, and police data from, and they asked if they could have me do it specifically because my conversion of their other data was flawless, and I granted them some change requests on the way through to make their lives easier. Simple changes to record type names of easier identification, clip leading spaces, or extra extra zeros so they could put reports in Excel, stuff like that. He said the client wouldn't stop fucking gushing about me, and he was floored to hear that I had done the whole thing myself, where his team typically breaks the responsibilities between 5 or more people. He offered me a position on the spot, and I told him I was interested and I'd think about it. He told me I could start doing some part-time stuff with him a few hours a week if I wanted it that way. Then he told me he saw the bullshit I was dealing with and said he'd get the other departments off my fucking plate. I liked him right away. My current boss then interrupted our call, seeing me talking to that guy on our in-house phone app, and demanded to know what I was wasting my time on. Then she proceeded to berate me about open orders and my lack of documentation about their lack of progress. You got time to bullshit with him, but you can't call a client? I try to tell her for the millionth time about all the expectations from the other departments. The obligations they leave beyond their allotted timeframes, the inability I have to force other companies do things for us no matter how many times I tell the client. She told me, I'm done with your excuses. Just do your job and shut up. I called the conversions head right back and asked how soon I could transfer to his department full time. He said, fucking yesterday. Man, this is such good news. I was just talking to the assistant department manager and he about shit his pants when I said, I think I got you part-time. Take the rest of the day off. Have a beer to celebrate. I'll handle the transfer and we'll see you in the morning. And that was that. I did as my new boss commanded and had a beer to celebrate. A wave of relief came over me after months of tension. The following day, I told the vampire departments and my previous boss in no uncertain terms that I was done helping them. It went unacknowledged and they continued adding things to my calendar, so I deleted them, did my job, and shut up. Things got ugly. I'm not super talented or anything, but I was literally the only person they had for a lot of things, and things went to shit. Most of it requires institutional knowledge I had spent years acquiring, so they couldn't even hire someone to do the things, and rather than come ask me for help, people made demands and attacks. And I got flat out belligerent about it. In an email with the CEO, CCED, the support... And I got flat out belligerent about it. In an email with the CEO, CCED, the support manager asked why I couldn't be bothered to help them anymore. I said, for the same reason you can't be bothered to clean the toilets or recapable the building. Not my job. Previous boss told me to just do my job and shut up. Take it up with her. The sales/evangelist guys tried to go over my head and asked my new boss if I could do some of their demos. He said, sure, if you come over here and do some of his conversions. Numbers tanked for the departments I was previously involved with. Support in particular. They went from a 2-hour average resolution time to 8 days. Sales for my product line went down from 85% success to less than 25%. CEO reported that sales dropped over 60% from 85. Don't know the exact. Dev and product went from 100% customer satisfaction to 60% implementations have been completely unable to install certain components, which led to at least one contract cancellation and demand for a refund. And in true storybook fashion, my previous boss's boss, the one who gave me my previous employee review and who's a childhood friend of the CEO, told me privately that the CEO noticed all the departments unfocused my chi stopped working for suddenly saw their worst numbers in company history. Weird. And asked, anything in particular that pushed the guy over the edge? Previous boss's boss explained that I was pissed about the review/raise having nothing to do with merit or effort, the demand from other departments, unrealistic and impossible expectations, and the idiotic requirement for documentation. So, this year and going forward, there are 2 criteria for yearly raises: individual output and department output. No raises for people with negative performance numbers. Upon that announcement, some department heads up and quit and others changed positions internally. Meanwhile, I've written a few utilities for my team that have saved thousands of hours of manual work. Our numbers are soaring where they were previously up and down, and my new boss is driving the whole bus full of our laughing asses all the way to the bank.